Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to share with you guys 6 tips on how to improve your language speaking skills. It doesn't matter if you're learning English or Spanish or Chinese, these rules actually, in my opinion, apply to all. I summarized these rules from my English learning experience and I am now applying this to my Spanish learning process. The reason why it is so important to improve your language speaking skills is because language is something that you use to communicate with people, and most often of the time you speak to communicate with people instead of writing. That's why it makes speaking skills the utmost important skills of the whole language learning process. So the first 5 rules are related to how to improve your speaking skills, and the 6th rule is actually, in my opinion, the most important rules in not only language speaking but communicating. So the first rule, which is the building block of the coming next few rules, is that you have to pay attention to the pronunciation of every single word that you learn. Why is it important? Because communicating or talking with somebody is like building a house, and the pronunciation of each word is the very building block of your house. If you cannot get the building blocks right, how are you going to be able to build a house that people can happily live in? So I've noticed that for some people, when they learn a new word, they focus more on the meaning of the word. They will write down examples of how this word is used, but very often they are not paying enough attention to how this word is pronounced. For example, when I say practicar, practice, before when I say practicar, I pronounce the R sort of like an L. So one time when I talked with a Cuban friend of mine, I said practicar, and he said no, it should be practicar, not practicar. So you have to be very careful with the pronunciation. And for English, 80% of the time the way it's written is completely different from the way how it's pronounced. So I would highly recommend that whenever you learn a new word, if you are not sure how this word is pronounced, 100% go to a dictionary and check. So the second tip is that watch as many TV shows as possible in your target language. And when you watch these shows, there are 2 things that you need to pay special attention to. So the first thing is when you listen to them talking, pay attention to on which word native speakers emphasize or stress on. And the second thing is the intonation of the sentence. So in this whole sentence, if it's a very long sentence, where do their tones go up and where do their tones go down? So the emphasis and the intonation of a sentence is like a melody. It's just like when you are singing, which word in the lyrics hit a higher note and which word in the lyrics hit a lower note, which is important for this melody to work. And it's important for people to be able to recognize what song it is. And the third thing when you are watching a TV show that I want you to pay attention to is how each word is used, especially the simple words. So when I watch any TV series, what I pay attention to most is not the words that I don't understand. I care about the words that I do understand and the words that I am not confident to use by myself. For example, in English, if I say, I know that blah, 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 I'm so used to the structure of I know that blah, blah, blah. But in Spanish, people don't really say I, the subject of the sentence. They just use the conjugation of the words to indicate the subject of the sentence. In the beginning, I was so unconfident to say que blah blah blah, because I always feel like it's short of a word. It should be like yo sé, so that it's like I know. But if I only say que blah blah blah, and because it's very short, I was always afraid that people wouldn't understand me because it's so short. But then as I watch more and more TV shows, I realized that, okay, this is just how people talk. So by watching shows, you actually see how native speakers use these words, and it boosts your confidence to say the word or the expression in the same way because you've heard somebody talk like that. So to sum up, input of your target language is very important in improving your language speaking skills. And now let's move on to the third point. Try to repeat after the characters. You don't need to do this with the whole movie or the whole TV show. You just pick like a little part, let's say maybe 5 to 10 minutes that you really like. First of all, you wanna watch shows with subtitles. Then you study the subtitles, check all the words that you don't know or all the pronunciations that you're not sure about. And thirdly, you wanna familiarize yourself with the subtitles. You can try to read it out loud several times by yourself before you repeat after the characters. And after this step, you wanna repeat after the characters. Pay attention to, first of all, the stress of the sentence. And secondly, the intonation of the sentence. Thirdly, the punctuation of each sentence. Just remember, like singing a song, you want to stop at the right place. You want to hit the right notes. You want to imitate the characters in the show as best as you can. And the second thing I want you to pay attention to while repeating after a character is in which context this word and expression is used. So the best part about learning a language with a TV show or movie is that it comes with a plot. And because it comes with a plot, you actually understand what's going on, and you will learn how to appropriately use a word or expression. And also, you get to learn the culture and the humor. I think I learned most American humor from the show Friends. I actually memorized all the scenes so well that I know what kind of jokes work the best for people who belong to this language culture. So the first point, be patient and take baby steps. When we learn a foreign language, we are actually acquiring the language like a little kid. So in the beginning, don't stress yourself too much. Start with very simple sentences like, I like movies, I like reading. Then gradually you can say, I like reading because it gives me joy. And maybe in a few months, you will be able to say, I like reading because our brain requires exercise to keep it strong and healthy, and reading is like the workout of my brain. But it's not possible for you to say sophisticated stuff like this in the beginning, so just say, I like reading. The important thing is you have to say it with confidence. It doesn't matter how short it is, it matters how confident you are. So try to pronounce each word correctly and say it nice and short. See if the other person understands what you are saying. If they understand you, then it means that you are doing something right, because other people can actually understand what you are saying. And in return, this boosts your confidence to keep learning the language and keep getting better in speaking. But if you stress yourself too much in the beginning with very sophisticated sentences, most likely you're gonna lose your confidence in studying this language. And the fifth point is to try to find a language partner. Best case scenario, your language partner is a native speaker, but there are many people in this world who can speak their second or third language as well as their native language. So it wouldn't hurt for you to practice with people like this. So long as they're willing to point out your mistakes and they're willing to practice with you, it doesn't really matter if they are that native or not. I would recommend you to find 2 to 3 people to practice with. First of all, with different people, you get to practice different subjects so that there are more areas that you can practice your speaking skills in. And secondly, if you introduce yourself to somebody, maybe the first time you struggle with word choice, you struggle with the flow of the sentence or your intonation or your pronunciation, but the second time or the third time you just get better and better. So when you are introducing yourself to the third person, your output is gonna get so much better than when you are practicing with the first person. But let's be honest, nobody wants to listen to you talk about the same thing over and over again. So it's better that you find more people and practice with the same content, but for them it's just brand new information. So where to find language partners? So recently I've joined some Facebook language groups. So in these groups, people just post that I'm looking for somebody who can practice Spanish with me. I can offer English and Chinese to practice with you. So people who are learning your native language will just come to you and leave a message, and you guys can just make a rule. If you're gonna talk twice a week or 3 times a week, what you're gonna talk about, how you want the things to be. And another app that I'm using is called Hello Talk. So you get to choose your native language or the language that you can offer to help other people, and also your target language. We can always find friends on apps like this, and you guys will just do I normally just do calls with people, and I think it's better that you lay some ground rules in the beginning, like I hope that you would correct my mistakes when I talk, and can you slow down a little bit when you talk because my listening is not good. So for the purpose of practice, people are generally very patient, they're very nice. So I highly recommend you guys try this method to find a language partner. Don't be nervous when you talk, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. I have an Argentinian language partner, and the first time that we talked, I was really nervous because I wasn't confident about my Spanish speaking. While we were talking, if I couldn't remember an expression or I couldn't remember the conjugation of a word, I got flustered and nervous. He would be like, tranquila, we are just practicing. So take your time in the dictionary and find the words that you need. And after practicing for, it's been 3 weeks now, I would say, I already feel a lot more confident in speaking. The more you talk, the more confident you will be in your speaking skills. So after doing all these practice in pronunciation and intonation, imitation, now the core question is, what are you going to talk about? Doesn't matter how good your pronunciation is. It doesn't matter how many expressions you know. If your brain is empty, you don't have anything to talk about, how are you going to use these expressions, right? But there are things that you can do for you to carry a conversation with a native speaker. So to start with, I think you can prepare a little self-introduction. You don't necessarily need to write it down. You just go through in your mind how you would want to present yourself or introduce yourself to a stranger. For example, where are you from? What is your city like? What food do you like? What do you study? What do you do for a living? You can just go through these things in your mind and see if you have all the vocabulary to properly introduce yourself. So the next time you want to introduce yourself to a stranger, you don't need to struggle with things that you can actually prepare. And the second recommendation is that read or watch news or maybe talk shows so that you keep up with what's going on in this world, because people will always want to talk about what just happened. So you want to familiarize yourself with the topics in trend so that when you practice speaking with somebody or when you are just like communicating with somebody, you know what that person is talking about and you have an opinion about it so that you can keep the conversation going. And thirdly, of course, you can always read some books. When you are struggling with topics, you can talk with people about, hey, I read a book. It's called blah, blah, blah. What happened in the book? What I feel about the book. So that you have something to share with other people. Fourth point, watch some TV shows, movies, or reality shows, or maybe just pick a celebrity that you like. If you're studying Spanish, pick a Spanish celebrity, actors or singers or even a song, and have an opinion about it. If you don't know what's going on in things that people actually talk about, then there's no chance for you to express an opinion. But if you always know what shows they're talking about, what celebrity they're talking about, and every once in a while you can chip in with your own opinions, people who you are talking to will find you interesting and they will find you understand their culture in a way. Oh my god, I think I should have prepared some water with me here because I think I talked too much already. But we are now getting to the end of it. So the last point that I want to talk about in my sixth tip is also something that you can prepare. Pick a subject that you are interested in. It can be something related to your work or your major or your hobby, your passion, or just things that you genuinely care about, and get as much information as possible in your target language. Oh my god, seriously, I cannot talk anymore. But luckily, I finished my last point. So these are the 6 points that I want to share with you guys. If you like the content, give me a like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!